But I do get around a lot quicker. A lot of places I get there a day early, and then you can't park the vehicle. I want to look at the map. Sorry, I'm just. Um, you get there early, and then you can't park the vehicle. It won't give you the spot to park the vehicle, so you have to just say, skip parking it, and not get your extra XP if you're hoping to get some extra XPs. Okay. See, now this is where the GPS comes in handy. The guy talking. Alright, see that way there, if I go that way, that continues the highway. It doesn't come down into here into San Francisco, and I wanted to come down into San Francisco. So if I didn't have the guy talking, I would have missed that turn. Okay, so it gave it to me that time as I drove over top of it. But I still want to go down in there and uncover some of those other roads there, and then I'll grab an app. See if I can't pick another truckload to go somewhere else. As I say, there's various ways you can find a load. You can drive to places to see what they have, or you can do it on the map and then drive there afterwards. Of course, this is not being realistic whatsoever, doing this stuff in here. If I had the fines turned on, of course, I wouldn't be doing that because they fine you pretty good. That's why I turned it off for going through the lights. Is why I turned it off. I'm not gonna go. I don't want to. Oh, or do I want to go down there? Let's see. Let's take a look at the map here. Oh, this is so screwy. No, I think that puts me back up here, doesn't it? I'm going to turn around and go back this way. So you can see here, so these beds here, basically what they are is a person. Those are places you can pull in and sleep there, or you can pull in and sleep here or there. But some of these don't have them. And then, of course, these places here, these are all companies that'll have loads that you can take. So you can, like I said, you can either drive there to them, or you can find them on the freight market and go that route. See if I can make this turn here. The other thing you'll find about this game that's really good at doing is when you're doing this stuff, it will usually throw traffic in behind you right away on you. Another thing it likes to do to you, I find it's quite popular doing, like when you have a load and you're going down the highway, and then let's say you have to take the right exit, and they'll have an exit there blocked off so you can't take it, and then you find out you got to go 500 miles to go around, just because of the location you're in where you are. And all the way down the highways are a fence or a billboard or something right down the middle of the highway, so that you can't just hop over the center line and go the other direction. So that gets a little sucky too. That it can do that to you. But I guess in real life that happens to them too, right? I've been traveling and had that where traffic stopped because of an accident. The road's closed for 12 hours or 20 hours. I guess it does happen, but it sucks when it does eat a game because obviously in real life they'd be able to call their dispatch or the place where the load's going and telling them that, hey, there's an accident here, sorry, I'm going to be tied up for 20 hours, or there's not much you can do about it. But in the game, you can't do that. If you get tied up, oh well, too bad, so sad. Gonna cost ya. And of course, you gotta also get fuel too. That's another thing you have to kind of watch. So That's one of the things I do with all my trucks that I buy. That I put the 300-gallon tank on them. I don't know. I just like to have them all set up so that they can do whatever the heck the AI drivers can do, whatever they prefer doing, right? Whether like long hauling or short hauling. I guess a long haul truck's really not all that good for short hauling, but I don't want to strict them to just only being able to do short hauls. If you know what I mean. So it is kind of neat. I mean, the scenery's pretty good in it. You know, you're coming into towns and stuff. You know, having this kind of map like this, being in here, can you imagine being in here like this and then having like the firefighter simulator map being like this one here? I mean, it would be so much more cooler. Getting around, you know, driving around and stuff. It just, you know, I mean, the one they have in there now is not too bad, but it just, this looks just so much more realistic. Yeah. Quit telling me. I know it's damaged. Out here driving around to uncover these roads. So there is a thing that does keep track of how much of the roads you've uncovered, whether you have all the maps or not. There's 2 maps out now that I still don't have, that I haven't picked up yet. But you know, we're going across the, you know, America, so it's pretty big. So I just picked this map up here the other day. And then, of course, these 2 are available. And I guess we still got a few more that they're going to be bringing out, hopefully, at some point in time to get her all filled in, which would be nice. You know, so, and it's huge. The other cool thing I think that's really neat about this game is that you pick a load up here, say in Seattle up here, and they want you to bring it all the way down here, down to Beaumont or something, right? You know, and that's like a week trip. You know, like 5 days or something like that. And it takes you like 2.5 hours to do it. And the thing that's so neat about it is you're just going down, and everything looks natural. It looks normal. It's, you know, you're not like warping here or there, or it's not like when you stop and have a rest that it warps everything. You know, so I'm not quite sure how they do it. Of course, I'm not a programmer, so it just kind of baffle my mind a little bit that they're able to do that so well. Okay, let's see if I can figure my way out of here. Get over to that rest area there. I think I want to go. I'll have to leave that. I want to get over here. So I want to get to the repair. So that's a repair icon too. All right, so I'm going to hang a right and then we hang a left. And another left. At the buildings here, enjoying the scenery a little bit. Well, this might be dangerous. Alright, so I'm going to want to take this left here. The AI cars in this aren't too bad, but they do have spots where that they just do something, whether you're there or not, they do it anyway. So like going down the highway, if there's a merge lane, they'll automatically, if the AI is in the right lane, will automatically move into the left lane. And then once they're past that merge lane that's coming on down to the highway, they'll move back to the right. And they do it with no warning. They just move over. So if you're in the left lane beside them and a merge lane comes up, they'll just move over into you, which sucks because that's now you would just damage your truck, damage your load. Just something to mindful if you play the game that's one of the things they like to do. See, this gets so confusing in here with all these roads because there's so much. This is overpass, you know, and you get on them overpasses and you get screwed. So that's where it's nice to have the voice of the GPS. Definitely makes it a lot easier. Alright, here we go. There's the repair shop. I just blew past them, so what I'm going to do here is I'll back up here real quick. Alright, let's get that beeping off. Alright, so we're going to repair shop, so we do the top one. And then, of course, the wrenches will just fix the items that are broken, right? Just force that, or you can repair, or you can replace them, right? So, of course, if you replace them, you see it's going to cost $22,000. Now I know it says like the motor replaces $53,000, but you get money back for the motor that's in the vehicle, and then they put a new one in. Is how this works, right? So that's why it's only $22,000 instead of what's kicking up there, but it's not damaged enough to bother with doing a replacement, so I typically just do repairs. So like the tires, they'll get up to 20% damaged or 25, and then I'll just replace them. You could probably even let them go to 50, I don't know. You can probably even let them go further than that if you wanted to, but you know, I've got $6 million. I just replace them. Alright, so the other thing, so when you're at that too, is you come into here. So this is the shop thing. So here's all the different chassis I could put on this truck. You know, I got the double axle. You could do a triple axle, but the problem with these is these make the truck so much bigger, right? Like, you know, and when you go into here, you go, well, that's not much more, but you know, where I just parked that trailer, if I had a triple axle truck pulling that, you would have never made it. Right. Wouldn't even have been close to being able to make it. So see, this is the one that we have on there. You see how much shorter that is, right? That was just telling me you'd have to change. If I go to that, you have to change the long box, which would change the truck design a little bit, right? So, but it's kind of weird because last time I come in here, I just clicked on this and let me do it. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know which one did it. Oh, that was the one I picked. Because these other ones I'm picking, what it's telling me is that it has to change. Yeah, so you come into here, it has to change the sleeper on these ones. But it just, like I said, it just makes the truck longer, so I don't bother with them because it's, you know, I usually just go with the medium 6x4. Then you can take everything with that. I mean, if you wanted to do the super heavy, I do heavy loads with this truck like this. I don't think putting a triple axle on there made it much different for what I had to choose for heavy loads. But the problem I found with the triple axle, as I said, it makes the truck longer. So you have a trailer, and then they want you to park the trailer in the spot that your truck, if you got your truck, you know, wouldn't even fit in the space because it's too long. You know, that they give you for being able to back up and turn in. So then, of course, you got your engines. Like I said, I always buy it doesn't matter what truck. Any truck I get, I put the biggest motor in it I can put in there. And then, of course, the trannies. Typically, I like this one here. Typically, I use the 18-speed. I just like it better than this one. But this truck has that tranny in there. And then, of course, you can come into these things. So, you know, you can do custom paint jobs. So as you can see, they got, I mean, there's tons and tons of different things in here you can do. And I think you can paint it yourself too, in the paint shop, however they do it. Like you say, I don't muck around with this stuff a whole lot. Right, and then of course your interior, you can change a lot of stuff in your interior as well. So all these dots, you can change stuff, right? Put a little hoochie up there, beer can, cap, you know, and just items you can do to clutter your truck up, right? Standard plate. Just all kinds of accessories you can do that. I usually don't bother with this stuff because, you know, I like to get a couple loads in, runs in a day. Yes, cancel all new modifications. All right, so kind of where you go to do that stuff in there. You get that option too when you buy a truck. You can do all kinds of things to it as well. All right, so we're a little low on fuel. Yeah, well, actually, no, I'm not that low on fuel, but we'll go ahead and fill her up here anyways. It should be really expensive here. If I remember right, out in San Francisco area is huge, and yeah, $5. $5.05 for diesel here, whereas alright, so you gotta turn your engine off, hold down the enter key, and it'll fill you up. Down, man, I gotta go to the map here. World map. Oops, we are on the world map. Okay, so basically down here in this area, California, or down along here, gas is just like, or diesel is like $5 a thing. You come down in here, you get down in Idaho, down in this area is down to like $3.90 or $3.80 or so. But then you get over to here and you're like $3.20, $3. So I can't zoom it out far enough to show it, but basically this side of the map, this portion of the map in here, the diesel is outrageously expensive. And I don't know if it's like that there in real life. Like I say, I've never been to the States, so I couldn't tell you. All right, I guess getting close time to having to have a nap, aren't I? So probably go do that. Seems how we're right here. Oops, garbage can damaged my nicely fixed truck. Wow, is that ever loud on the outside? All right, so again, turn the gas off, turn the truck off. Just hit enter key for the nap. It's gonna run through everything real quick, and there we go. Now we had our nap, now it's getting later. So, well, I'm gonna change my mind, and we're gonna come down here, I'll go to one of these places and pick something out. So as I said, we could go to the freight market there. But here we go. What do we got here? This guy's paying $90. See, this one's only paying $60, but that's gonna be a long run. Expected by Monday. I forget what we're at. I think we're on Thursday. No, I guess we'd be on Friday. No. That's 3 days away. This one's paying more per mile and it's not going as far. But that's another big one. Bitumen, Plaster and Son. Bitumen. Could do that one. That one's a fairly long run though. Let's see what else do we got kicking around in here. down to Arizona. That's not too bad. That's a nice short run. 68. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take this one. Okay, so I'm gonna set you GPSs on this one. Hopefully it works. See if it switched the GPS. It did. Why? Well, I'm just kind of wondering why it's telling me to go all the way around like that. Why not? Why not go that way? Oops. Kind of weird the GPS and telling them to go the other way. I just kind of thought that looked a little weird. Yeah, I kind of had that feeling he wanted me to turn into. So you see how you get a little. If he had the voice, he would have told me to turn left now, so I would have known to turn there. So we have to find the icon. Just that one there, and then we'll drive into here and we'll say, yeah, I'm here to pick up my load. So hit the enter key and of course go to the job searchy thing. And this is the one we wanted, right? Could change our mind, take that one, but we want that one. So then we go down here, take job. And now you look on your GPS map and you can see there's a green flag there with the white circle flashing around it. So he's gonna be down there. He is down there. It'd be fun to get him out of here. So now this is the kind of thing why you like to have a short chassis truck instead of having a long chassis truck. As you can see, it's just pretty tight. So it's one of the reasons, as I was saying, that I don't use the triple axles, because it just makes the truck too long. And most of the loads that you're taking, or that you end up taking or getting, aren't going to require a triple load. I should have tilted this corner here this way. There we go. So something I didn't show, or maybe I'll show when I get in here. There we go. Ooh, we're in. Let's turn that stupid beeping off. Okay, so if I go F4, and then up here now you can select to change stuff. So for like mirrors, so then you can go through and you can set up your mirrors however you like them. But the other thing you can do is let me get out of this. You go F2, and now you can see. So I can bring up my right mirror, my left mirror, take the right one away, leave. But I usually just have the right side up because I got my truck mirror right there, and I can drive with it there. But this side, if you're looking out that mirror to see, it makes it hard to drive. So the other thing you can do is go back into here, and then let's say like I don't mind mine being back. Whoops. So you move the steering wheel up and down. You can tilt the steering wheel. So this here will actually move you in and out. So it kind of gives you your purple vision that you see beside you, right? So, or kind of like zooming back. So see, you could sit right back if you want. You know, but it's pretty hard to drive in that view. But you could set yourself up, you know, so you could be here, and then that way you only need the one mirror up over here. So if I close this out, have to take him off. Right, so I could sit here. That looks perfectly normal for driving, right? This is quite often how I drive the truck. So I can see out my left mirror without moving the screen or that one. Like I said, TrackIR works in this, so while you're in the cab, so you can turn your head, and it's pretty cool. I didn't like it because it had a little bit of a glitch to it, and at the time I tried it, I didn't feel like working that glitch out. The other thing is that I play the game with a fantastic wheel. That's what it's called, fantastic, and it is absolutely fantastic. I also picked up their shifter, 7 gears H thing, and I spent, I think it must have been about at least an hour to try and get that thing to work on this game, and I did figure it out. There was a lot. there was a lot to figuring out. It was why it took an hour. I had to disable some other things in order to get it to work, and it works fine. But the problem is that you know, I work for the highway department, and I haven't, like these trucks. You use the clutch to start and stop. That's it. You don't use it when you're driving, really. And just my issue I had with them is that in the game I can't get the shifter to work the way I normally drove the trucks, so that kind of sucked, and I just didn't feel like spending the time to learn how to shift over again, so I just decided to just continue using the paddles. But one of these days I will definitely put the shifter back on and start playing again with the shifter, because, you know, I mean, I did pay $200 for this thing, so I should be using it. And one of the things with these trucks, as I mentioned earlier, I like to use the 18 gear tranny. And the drawback to the flippers, of course, is that when you stop, and let's say you're in gear 8 and you stop, and then you go to back up to your trailer, got to back up, you know, I got to go through those 8 gears to get into reverse, where, of course, if I just had the shifter, you stop, you put it in neutral, throw it over into reverse, right? 1 gear instead of having to go through 8 or 9 just to get to reverse. Might have caught that fence in real life there. No, this is screwing me up because I really don't have that one up. And I did, I might have zoomed this in a little further than what I wanted. But, okay, we gotta go that way. Oh, helps if I put it in gear, right? Too busy chatting. Now, typically, I don't know, a good portion of the first portion of this game, I played it with having, you know, the fines and everything all turned on, and like I said, the big one that got me to turn it off is doing a right-hand turn at a red light. It would give you a big fine one time, and the next time it didn't. And then next time it didn't. Then it did. Then it did. Then it didn't. I just got tired of it. I says, I don't have a Class 1 license. I have a Class 3, so I don't know if there's Class 1s aren't allowed to do right-hand turns on red lights. Or maybe it's something in the States in certain places you're allowed to and you're not allowed to. I don't know what it was. I just know I was tired of getting big fines for doing it. And I guess the easiest way around it was just don't make a right-hand turn on a red light. But kind of hard not to. It's kind of hard now that just knowing that I have those things turned off to try and tell me, well, I shouldn't be stopping for the lights. I shouldn't be flying through them. I shouldn't, kind of gets addicting. Yeah, might be a little more fun to keep yourself at it if the cops come after you and chase you, for driving recklessly, rather than getting a flash up on your window, or a message flash that you saying, oh, you just got a fine for speeding, or you got a fine for reckless driving. I think I just, yeah. No, I don't know if you're paying attention to that, but it was hard to tell whether I should have went right or straight there. And like you say, that's where the voice comes in handy, because it lets you know before you go by it. Now, I probably just screwed myself there, because I probably added a bunch of miles to it for this now, right? Because, let's see, yeah, so it would have had me turning going this way. So they would have me coming down this way, so instead I'm going up around this way. So a little bit, not too much. It's not too bad. But I've had it, like you were saying about the accidents, where you have to go another way, and say you wanted to come down here and you're going to come here and you couldn't, you had to go this way, and this chunk of road wasn't here, so you got to come way down to here to come over to here, and then all through this crap over to get over there, which quite often makes it that you can't get your load through in time. So typically I just drive where the accidents are. If you drive down the right side of the shoulder, usually you can get around them, depending on what you're hauling, though. That's for sure. So that's not too bad. I'll give her on this. But it is cool. I'm pretty sure that these maps are pretty accurate to the stuff that's around and stuff, so it's probably just like going there and visiting. Down and crazy now. So what are we at here? Friday, 6 a.m. Saying we'll be there at 10, so 12 hours. Ow, you stupid. I gotta put this guy on talking, man. There wasn't a boulevard in there. Whoa, 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 That just about cost me a bunch of time. So I can see that side. back in the settings and change it. Turn that guy back on. Boy, do I ever miss not having him on. You know, and I probably play, well, most of the time I've spent playing this game so far, I've played this with that off. I only just turned it on yesterday. And I didn't even know it was in the game. The only reason I found out they had it in the game was because I was watching another video about it. Watching another video, and the guy, and I heard the GPS talking. I said, "What? I didn't know you could do that." So, sure enough, went to the settings, and hey, there it is. So there is all kinds of things in there. You know, as I was mentioning about the shifter, they had various ways that you could shift with it, but they didn't have the way that I got used to driving the truck with it. And you know, when I drove the trucks, as I said, you'd pull it out of gear and go right down into the next gear you wanted, whether you're going up or down, just as long as your RPMs didn't drop more than about 500 RPMs. The gear would go, and if it didn't want to go, well, you just gave it a little gas and then it would just slide in. But the closest they had a few different ways you could shift in this thing. Double clutching is out. You know, there's no need to double clutch. It just takes you too long to shift gears. So there's no way I can double clutch. When you go for your license, some of the instructors insist that you have to double clutch. They'll fail you. There's other one that said shift however you want to shift, as long as you get it in gear, it doesn't matter. You know, so I got in the habit of, like I said, I'd be going along, I'd gear up to usually about 1800 on the tack, and then shift gear, and I would drop, you know, pull it out into the next one, hit the gas pedal. And like I said, if it got down to, for some reason, if I didn't get it in by the time it went down to like 1300 RPM, then I would just, you know, put my foot on the gas a bit, and of course, and pull back on the shifter or push forward on it, and it would just slide into place. So in the game, the closest I could get to that was that you're going down the road like this, take your foot off the gas, pull it into neutral, hit the gas, then take your foot off the gas, then pull it down into your next gear, or push it up into your next gear. So if I played around with it, I could probably get to that one. Now you see that there's a police officer there on the left, parked there behind the bush. Now if I had the fines turned on, he wouldn't come out after you or nothing. It would just, when he seen you, it would just flash a thing on your screen that you got caught speeding to give you a fine, and you're still doing the 90 miles an hour down the highway. So I think that, you know, it'd be more interesting they came out after you and you had the option of stopping or trying to outrun them. You know, I just really like that. The other trucking game I have, that they had that. Alright, well, not quite sure how long I've been blabbing away in here, but this is kind of the American Trucker Simulator, which of course always has new stuff coming out to it and updates and stuff, so it's quite the interesting game. Oh, you bugger. And that's something I get for, you know, passing the guy in the right. The other guy moved out of the way right away, and if I stayed behind him, I would have to slow down, and then usually they don't want to move over for you. But kind of what I get for cheating a little bit, I guess. But anyways, we've been out here playing a little long enough, so I'm going to say Mr. Wildcat out for now, and we'll catch you all in the next one down the road here. That's what I want.